How'd you like the new intro? Yeah, my computer basically erased everything I edited on an episode I wanted to post yesterday, and included in what it erased was my old intro. So I had to redo that last night. It's the play of the week again! This time we're doing 2 plays. Brighton Beach Memoirs, Biloxi Blues. Ironically, I think it's gonna work better if I talk about them in reverse order. So, Biloxi Blues, starring teen heartthrob Matthew Broderick. It's about the character Eugene, who kind of represents Neil Simon in this semi-autobiographical series of plays. This is after he's left his home in Brighton Beach, and he's departing for Biloxi for training to go into the war, World War II. I give this play 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot more than I liked Brighton Beach Memoirs. It's less cutesy than Brighton Beach Memoirs. There's, I think, deeper and darker human truths that it explores, so I liked it more. It talks about being part of a unit, power, abuse of power, psychological torment. But one excerpt I did want to read from the play is the end of Act 1. So far in the play, the character Epstein, that's his last name, who's one of the boys in Eugene's camp, who is another Jew. Eugene's Jewish. Epstein's a Jew, you can tell because of the name. He butts heads with Toomey, who is the sergeant of the boys. Toomey has just reamed Epstein out, and Epstein's talking to Eugene and basically saying, you know, Eugene, you can stand up for yourself too. He accuses Eugene of being a witness, and that's all. Eugene wants to be a writer. Epstein says, you know, you need to make a contribution to the fight. Eugene says, what fight? And Epstein says, any fight, the one you believe in. And Eugene says, yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes I feel like I'm invisible, like the shadow. I can see everyone else, but they can't see me. That's what I think writers are, sort of invisible. And Epstein says, no, not Tolstoy, you know, not Herman Melville. I think there is that misconception sometimes that artists can have that, you know, I'm an observer, and it's not enough to observe, but you also have to wield a sword. Moving on to Brighton Beach Memoirs, this play I did not like as much. It's cute, it's contrived, it's over-sentimental. When you think of all the cliches and complaints about Neil Simon's writing, hey buddy, they're all very prevalent in Brighton Beach Memoirs. There's not any huge dark truths, but it's a nice story, and I'm sure it's really fun to watch on stage. I give it 3 stars, but there's a good point towards the end of the play when the character Blanche, who is Eugene's aunt, who is living with Eugene's family after her husband died. So are Eugene's 2 cousins. Blanche is basically standing up for herself now, and she's been taking a lot of grief from her daughters, and she's had enough. She's saying that she's felt invisible. She's talking to her daughter Nora here, and she says, if you keep on feeling that way, you'll end up like me, with something much worse than loneliness or helplessness, and that's self-pity. Believe me, there's no leg that's twisted or bent that is more crippling than a human being who thrives on his own misfortunes. She goes on to say, I'm tired of apologizing. I will not go back to being that frightened, helpless woman that I created. I've already buried someone I love, her husband. Now it's time to bury someone I hate. Other than Neil Simon kind of spelling things out for you, I think it's a really good point to kind of follow up on the Biloxi Blues message of it's easy to observe and to feel invisible, but you can't wallow in self-pity because that's not productive. More than not being productive, it's not fulfilling, and you are the only person that can conquer your self-pity. I've pitied myself a lot. So this is a message that I can relate to and need to hear often and in different ways. So anyway, those are the first 2 books of the Eugene trilogy. Next week, we're going to be reading the 3rd play, which is Broadway Bound. I'm going to be gone to Kentucky over this next week. I'm going to release a series of 3 episodes that I've already recorded and am currently editing on creation, destruction, and personal pain in artistry. Tune in, read Broadway Bound, and I will talk to you later. Kentucky!